Welcome to Slauson Girl Speaks. I am your host, Slauson Girl, bringing you world news with a South Central state of mind. A quick thank you to this week's sponsors over at Straight Up Fast Food. Straight Up Fast Food is a new juice delivery service started by two men from South Central who grew tired of traveling outside their community for healthy food and juice options. Straight Up Fast Food provides smoothies and juices made from organic fruits and vegetables. They will deliver fresh juices to your home, and you can order through their Instagram or website. You can email them at straightupfastfood@gmail.com or also call them at 562-367-4911 to place your order. They'll do free deliveries up to a 7-mile radius from USC. There's a $20 minimum purchase for Straight Up Fast Food. But what's even better than fresh smoothies? If you return 5 bottles, you receive a free smoothie with your next purchase. And if you mention Slauson Girl when ordering, you'll get a 10% discount, so make sure you tell them that Slauson Girl sent you. Serial predator Ed Buck has finally been arrested and faces 3 charges, including battery causing serious injury, administering methamphetamine, as well as maintaining a drug house, according to a Los Angeles County indictment. The charges come after Buck is said to have injected a 37-year-old in his apartment with methamphetamine September 11th. Luckily, the person will survive, unlike Jamel Moore and Timothy Dean, who visited Buck's house of horrors within the last 2 years and died from meth overdoses. If convicted, Buck faces up to 5 years in prison, which is a light sentence considering the 2 men have actually been recovered dead from his house. But since they were black men in the LGBT community, clearly their deaths do not hold the same weight. Rest in peace to Jamel Moore and Timothy Dean. Protesters and pro-Trump supporters clashed outside of a fundraiser for Donald Trump in Beverly Hills earlier this week. In a video, you could see someone setting an American flag on fire and chanting, "America was never great." Several fights broke out, but no one was arrested. The rally was held by a real estate developer in Beverly Hills. Trump is expected to pick up an estimated $15 million in campaign donations during the 4-city California tour. What happened to Mitrice Richardson? September 17, 2019 marked 10 years since 24-year-old Mitrice Richardson disappeared in 2009 after being released late at night from the Lost Hills Sheriff's Station with no cell phone, purse, or money. Her remains were found 11 months later in a rugged area of Malibu Canyon. How she died still remains a mystery. Los Angeles Sheriff's Police Chief Alex Villanueva has promised a fresh pair of eyes on Mitrice's case 10 years later. Questions remain after an 8-year-old boy was found dead in the pool of an Inglewood park. His mother says that she pulled over at the park to fill up a water bottle. Despite search efforts, the 8-year-old autistic boy was found in the pool of the Inglewood Park 5 hours after he was reported missing. Let me let you in on a little secret. Jerk Alert LA is the best go-to spot for authentic Jamaican food in South Central. It doesn't stop there. Catch their food truck in Hollywood and at the hottest events and pop-ups. Their jerk chicken fries, lobster rolls, and jerk chicken bowls with the side of plantains never fails. Check them out on Instagram at JerkAlertLA, Manchester and Western from 10 a.m. to 8 o'clock p.m. They also deliver with Postmates, so you don't even have to leave the crib. Now for world headlines that you should be aware of. Now for world headlines that you should be aware of. Hopefully you tuned into the Democratic debate that happened last week. Well, the poll results are in, and Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren are the top two candidates in the presidential race, according to most of the polls taken since last week's debate. Purdue, the company that produces the highly addictive substance OxyContin, filed for a Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on Sunday after reaching a settlement with states and local governments estimated at $10 billion. Purdue was sued after it was alleged the company deceptively marketed opioids by downplaying addiction risk. Purdue has been accused of contributing to a public health crisis that has been marked by nearly 400,000 overdose deaths since 1999, according to the latest U.S. data. Purdue and the Sackler family have denied they are liable for the opioid epidemic. The homeless crisis in Los Angeles is now reaching national and federal levels. President Trump's trip to Los Angeles this week included a tour of Skid Row and a condemning of city leaders. CNN reports that homelessness in Los Angeles has now reached emergency levels. Powerful conversations surrounding the state of Black America, voting in the upcoming 2020 election, and Blackness as a whole surrounded this year's Revolt Summit in Atlanta. Here is a clip of Tamika Mallory. I love what she said about the elitism in organizing and making sure you have those at the table whom you are advocating for.
The only way we can bring young people to the table is to talk to them about the issues that are at the center of what they care about. In their communities, police brutality is an issue. Obviously, education is an issue. Jobs are issues. These are the things that they care about. So when we fly in looking fancy and having people that don't know anything about Miss Lucy's water being dirty and don't know anything about what's going on the ground, we are missing them completely. We cannot talk about people without having them as part of the conversation. And more importantly, I feel like so many of our spaces, even Black spaces where we are organizing, are too elite for the people who we talk about. So if we are organizing without those who are the strippers, the scammers, the people who have been cast out in our society, if they are not at the front of the conversation, we're just doing something to make ourselves feel good. We're not really doing it.
I want to give a huge shout out to Milk It Media, who is an official sponsor of this week's episode. As one of Los Angeles' leading photography and videography companies, Milk It Media reminds you to take advantage of every opportunity. Visit milkitmediamarketing.com to book your headshots, family portraits, as well as music videos. Don't forget to subscribe to Milk It Media's website for monthly giveaways, discounts, and updates. You can follow Milk It Media on IG at milkit_media. That's milkit_media. Oh, and don't forget to mention Slauson Girl Speaks for $15 off your fall family portraits. Visit milkitmediamarketing.com for more. Thank you so much, Milk It Media. We greatly appreciate the support. The lack of representation regarding the history of Black wealth in Los Angeles is a lot of the inspiration behind the brand Black Beverly Hills. Our featured guest this week is China Berry, owner of the fashion brand Black Beverly Hills. China says the luxury lifestyle brand pays homage to Black wealth in Los Angeles and the communities such as View Park and Ladera Heights.
Yeah.
All right. How are you today?
Good. Greetings to everyone.
It's good to have you here today on the podcast. I appreciate your time so much. So Black Beverly Hills has become a recognizable brand in Los Angeles. I know a few months back I sent you a photo. I was on Instagram of Marsai, the girl from Blackish, rocking like her little green Black Beverly Hills joint. I was like, okay, the brand is have an incredible reach for sure. How long have you been pushing Black Beverly Hills, and what birthed the idea behind the brand?
I've been pushing Black Beverly Hills for about 8 years now. Officially, it's been about 6. So all the trademarks and proper paperwork went through. So that's what I would say. And what birthed it was not seeing a representation in the community, which was View Park. I didn't see anyone wearing anything that represented us. So that's what birthed it.
Nice. I just want to shout out, I'm loving these tones right here. I like the cream with the red, and it says the Crenshaw and Slauson and Overhill and La Brea, La Cienega. I really, really love the colors on this piece right here that you have on, so I just want to shout that out. But for those that are not familiar with View Park, give us some insight into the area and why is it important to the story of Black Los Angeles?
Well, View Park, it's currently the wealthiest predominant area in the whole world. It's been like that for the past, let's say, 60 years. So it's important to Black Los Angeles because before Black people or any people of color were able to move in the area, they had restrictive covenants stating that no person of any color could move in. So once those were lifted, Black people moved in, and the area of View Park is now a historic area. So once those Black people moved in that had money, it more or less birthed the term Black Beverly Hills. So yes, it's something that's just important to Black Los Angeles. We have had a lot of different stars and lawyers and important key Black figures in the community built their houses and live in the area.
Nice. So your family owns property in View Park?
Yeah, family owns property, been there for multiple years.
Nice. So what was it like growing up in View Park and just in LA in general?
In View Park, it was like the normal thing in the 90s. Kids playing outside, water fights, football in the street, basketball. It was a community where you saw Black kids running around. Living in View Park, always noticed that the area was nice, but I didn't get to really appreciate where I came from until got a little bit older and really recognized what it was for, what it is.
Right.
So growing up in Los Angeles is, it has its ups and downs. We all have lost friends and family members to things that go on in Los Angeles. But growing up in Los Angeles also has its benefits. It's a place where everybody wants to come to, and it's a place of a lot of opportunities. So I saw a lot of those opportunities early on and applied myself to them.
Nice. So when I talked to you before, we kind of talked a little bit about some of the symbols that have come to represent your brand, and one of the symbols are the oil drills.
Oil pump, yeah.
Oil pumps, right. And so anybody that drives up Overhill or
La Brea, La Cienega.
Right, exactly. Ride past these oil drills. Let's talk a little bit about the importance of these oil drills and why you choose to incorporate that into your brand.
Well, as a kid, driving around with mom's dad, I would always see these oil pumps, and I always thought of them as mechanical dinosaurs or something like that. I just thought they were really cool. Mm-hmm. So as far as creating a trademark, I always wanted to do things with the line that you would see things that represented it. So if you look back at the history, or if you look at times now, Baldwin Hills, View Park area has the largest oil field in the country, but it's not the biggest producing. So seeing that and wanting to create, put those things towards the the line. That's basically where it came from. And oil is like the biggest commodity in the world.
Right.
And oil is what we fight over. So,
and we got that right in the backyard of Blue Park.
Right in the backyard, like people get incentives for the oil over there.
It's powerful, definitely. So to kind of bring it back a little bit to the fashion and the brand Black Beverly Hills, who would you say are some of your fashion influences?
Fashion influences, currently Ricardo Tisci. Let's see, Tom Ford. Let's see, Virgil. And I think my biggest one would be Jerry Lorenzo, as far as like my biggest fashion influence.
Okay.
I feel like the whole fear of God thing. Yeah.
All right, some heavy hitters right there. So I know we talked a little bit about the inspiration behind Black Beverly Hills, but why fashion in particular as a career?
Well, I actually I never really thought of fashion.
Okay.
Something that I kind of just fell into. And I give my all to everything that I do. And everything that I mostly create, people feel it. So it's something that I'm just continuing because I love the area and I love wearing things that I create.
Nice. So you call yourself like a creator, artist type that kind of incorporate that into fashion and a business, because that's what I'm hearing, like the more so creative side in a sense.
That's exactly what it is. And I think within the past couple of years, people have been saying more to me that you're doing art. And I'm like, you know what, you're right. Because I come up with an idea, I get inspired by something, I pick the colors, I pick the fabrics and all of that. But it's more or less me expressing my ideas. And people wear my ideas, take them places, and I guess that probably inspires other things within other people's lives and bring emotions to different people by the words that are on the shirt, maybe the pictures that are on the shirt and all of that.
No, I posted a photo to my Instagram one time that was like that, like naming the streets in LA. I don't think that it was your brand per se, because it kind of had a little bit more like Vermont, Manchester, you know. But people gravitated towards that post so much, like so many people commented it, because again, it's like the familiarity of wearing things that represent like where you come from. And I don't know why that's just powerful for people, myself included. So what would you say is the hardest part about running a clothing brand?
The hardest part about running a clothing brand is staying ahead of the game. Everything runs within seasons, so more or less you're supposed to stay a year or more ahead. So that would be like the biggest battle in it. Another part would be just waiting on people. So I've learned to not wait and just go tackle another obstacle or, you know, handle another portion of the business.
Okay. And the best part?
The best part has been traveling, being invited to countless events, seeing my stuff on television and in music videos.
Nice.
And of course, getting those orders.
Right, I bet. All right, sweet. So you recently dropped the 2019 lookbook for Black Beverly Hills. What inspired this year's look and feel?
For this year's look, it was more or less really tapping into the oil industry, and that's where we're going right now. We have a new little character, call him Oil Boy, call him Lil Drippy.
Okay.
So we'll have that coming very soon. We ran with the Arabic font, and you know, the Arabs, they run the oil game. So
Okay,
along with the
okay.
trademark and incorporating that and trying to branch out. So the whole thing with the lookbook, it was shot at Kennethon Park, which is right in the backyard, and you see all of the oil pumps and everything. So
Nice.
everything is complete inspiration. Yep.
All right, sweet, sweet. So if your clothing brand had a message, what would that message be?
The clothing brand had a message, which it does. It is to support Black business and reach for wealth and reinvesting in your community.
That part. So are there any other struggles that you have encountered during your journey of Black Beverly Hills?
Yeah, I've acquired a couple of lawsuits within the past few years. Been sued by the city of Beverly Hills for trademark infringement. We battled that out for a little bit over a year, and I ended up settling with them. It was all over a logo, but they just kept pressing upon a shape, which you can't really have a trademark to a shape. It was the 4 council members plus the mayor that had to vote on suing me. Yeah, it's crazy.
They usually work in cahoots like that. Big business in the city.
It's crazy. I don't even understand why they wanted to press so hard about it, but I guess they saw some type of challenge that they would face in the future, or opposition with Black Beverly Hills and Beverly Hills.
That's what it is.
The second one that we just finished out was with the Beverly Hills Hotel. There's articles online and stuff, but that one we really can't touch too much on.
Right.
But we settled that one out also, and it's not a bad settlement. It's just they really don't want us to use a certain cursive, but we've already gotten through that.
Okay, definitely right, exactly. Because you're still moving, you still got your business, still selling merchandise. So at the end of the day, that didn't really stop the end goal or any real business. It's just a little bump along the way. And what would you say your biggest takeaways from this experience has been?
The biggest takeaways are just always have or what would you say, my best advice from it?
Yeah.
Maybe
biggest lessons that you learned, advice that you would give to, business owners or those with their own fashion brand that are creating these logos, pieces.
Well, the biggest takeaway from this past lawsuit is that if somebody has way more money than you, and they feel like you're infringing on something that they're doing, they can sue you and take you all the way to the end. So, save as much money as possible, but if you're going up against billions of dollars, it's a lot hard to try to win something like that completely. So just make sure that all your legalities are taken care of, and get all your protection in order so that you can win in this game. Because I see a lot of people out here doing a lot of good stuff, have a lot of good product, but they don't have any trademarks or any type of registrations behind it, which makes no sense.
I agree. But all right. So I want to take it back a little bit, back to the community, back to View Park, back to LA, the greater LA. I asked you how it was growing up in View Park. And so right now in LA there is a drastic changing of the city landscape, and community demographics are also changing rapidly. When you look around View Park today, is it the same community more or less that you seen when you were growing up, or are you starting to see more changes in the demographics and in your neighbors and stuff like that?
It's definitely not the same. I don't think too much of anything stays the same ever. But now, of course, it's becoming way more diverse, everyone, of course, sees people walking dogs more and taking the babies out for a stroll. But we are starting to see more community events going on. So I'm seeing a lot of good changes, but I'm also seeing a lot of diversity, and I mean those are good things for everywhere. But I would like to see more. I would honestly just like to see more Black people keeping their houses and staying in the community.
Right, definitely. Why do you think that's important in terms of keeping property and houses in the family for future generations?
Well, it's always good to keep property, especially in Los Angeles, because of everything going on. The housing prices are definitely going up. I've seen houses go from 500,000 within a few years to $1 million. So it's always good to have that investment. But for an area like View Park, which is a historic area now because of wealthy Black people being in there, it's good to hold on to those homes for the community, for the betterment of the people, for us to have a place where we can say it's ours and that has value. There's just a lot of stuff that's run down in other areas, but everything is, of course, on the rise. But
right.
Yeah, that's what we really need.
No, definitely. I definitely appreciate the community of View Park, because grew up a little bit more down Slauson, like, down that way, Central type, Broadway type.
All historic.
I mean, Central is historic, but Broadway, it was just a lot of not good sites, you feel me? And just, a lot of government housing, a lot of rationing, not really much wealth anymore in this particular area of South Central that I grew up in. So I just always just love driving past or through View Park and just like looking at the houses and just being like, dang, like, like this is one of the wealthiest, as you mentioned, historic Black communities in the U.S. And, I might not have grown up in this particular community, but I appreciate the value that it represents of the greater Black LA story,
Yeah.
And so I'm definitely glad to have you on here to highlight that and to talk about that. And another thing I wanted to touch on a little bit before we close out, since I have you in here, as a LA native, as a businessman, I just think that, it is only right that we lift up Nipsey's name in any way that we can. Rest in peace. It's been 6 months now since that has happened to him. And what are some of the biggest takeaways that that you use on a daily from Nipsey Hussle's music and his brand, being a LA native and just, being from the same section, damn near, basically,
Yeah, definitely from the same section, area, everything. As far as a takeaway, it would just be to stay on your grind, always be on your hustle, and try your best to improve the community. Well, do your best to improve the community. But man, for everything that I've seen him go through, it was just be to continue to hustle.
Definitely. So, is there anything else that you think is important to touch on in regards to Black Beverly Hills? Anything that the people should be on the lookout for?
Yeah, be on the lookout for a completely new collection, something that's game changing. Be on the lookout for some. Just be on the lookout. I can't really touch on all of the things that we dealing with right now, but yeah,
be on the lookout.
Y'all gonna see it.
Okay,
that's all I can say. Y'all gonna see a little bit of everything.
Okay,
yeah, We're gonna leave it at that.
All right, definitely. So tell the people where to find you.
You can find us blackbh.com, which is exactly how it's spelled, black and B and H.com. Find us at Black Beverly Hills. Personal IG would be China BBH. That's China with an I. But you can also find stuff. The stores that have the most things in it in Los Angeles would be Metro Fusion, which is in the Fox Hills, and Via Italia, which is in the Baldwin Hills. If you're looking for any of the shirts that have the and or any of the street names, that's only online. Everything else we keep exclusively. All the exclusive stuff is in stores, limited edition stuff in stores. It's a lot of stuff you won't be able to find on the website that are possibly in stores if it's not sold out.
All right, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time. Before we end this week's episode, thank you to all our amazing sponsors, and make sure to check out Isabel over at IVL Photo. She's a self-taught photographer who is an awesome event and portrait photographer based in Southern California. This woman creates some of the most amazing portrait photos ideal for any event such as weddings or something more formal such as headshots. Fun fact, Isabel says that Nipsey was actually her mother's neighbor, and that he inspired her to really get out there and quote-unquote take lucrative steps. She says that if her neighbor, as incredible of a man as he was, could manifest his dreams, then so could she. She also has a job opportunity. She's looking for an assistant/second shooter. So go ahead and visit Isabel on IG at IVL_photo. That's IVL_photo, or Isabel at IVLphoto.com. Make sure to support women businesses and just small businesses in general. Eric.
I'm a master. Y'all should give me honorary masters.